tied to photos, letters and names. Packed up our lives and began once again. We serve in the shadows, we carry the weight with stories that matter. Don't let them wait. Every story matters, from bases to war zones, from tearful reunions to cold nights alone. Spouses and veterans, hearts that won't quit, telling the truth about all of it.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and I'm going to be bringing Erica. Some of y'all know Erica, and George, who you may not all know. They are joining me today. I'm really grateful for it. And thank you to Coastal Nomad and Lorena. I know is going to be here in just a bit, everyone. And then, okay, Avarice. Nope, I'm going to mess up that name, but it's a part of the Lorena raid. So thank you for being here, everyone. We are going to just get started really quick. Erica, will you tell everyone what you do with me on my channel?
Yeah, we do military podcasts from the perspective of military spouses, what life is like, and your basic survival guide to what it's like to be in this crazy life we call the DoD military life.
Yep. Yes, and that we do one of those every month. It drops, and Erica's on there with me and a lot of other military spouses. Sometimes we talk about travel. Sometimes we talk about surviving social media as a military spouse, because that is so much fun. But there's lots of different topics that we just hit on, and we have a blast doing it. And so I'm really grateful for Erica and all the other military spouses who helped me out with that. George is a medically retired Army veteran who we met during our military sojourn. George has been one of the veterans that I had the privilege of interviewing on my podcast. George, can you tell everyone what that was like and what we're doing with veterans?
Yeah, so the interview actually was very eye-opening even for me. We spoke about different processes in which a veteran can get out of the military. Specifically, in my case, how I was a medically retiree, what steps that took, what steps that look like, and the options a veteran has coming out of the military as far as groups, organizations, schooling, things like that.
Yeah, and I really am excited because you are going to be participating in a veterans panel with me coming up for Veterans Day. Getting a whole bunch of veterans together to talk about just what matters most to you guys, what it was like being in the service, what you're all doing now. There are a lot of incredible veterans and military families out there who are doing a lot to contribute to their communities, and I really want to be able to highlight all of their amazing work. So that's part of what we do here on this channel. Rebooter, hi. Thank you for being here. I see you in the comments. Hello, I'm just remembering how to do all this. Coastal Nomad, thank you for being here. I'm gonna butcher this name, so hi. Avarice, I don't know how to say that. Can someone help me with that one? I'm human. Erica, you want to take a shot at it?
Yeah, I got nothing. Avarice, Carmageddon.
Yeah, Carmageddon. Carmageddon. Okay, I see. I get it now. See, I took us a few seconds. Please forgive me. I'm new at this whole game. So while we're waiting for while we are waiting for Lorena to show up, because there's something I want to cover once Lorena gets here. She's grabbing some food for all y'all of Lorena's people who were hanging out with her earlier. George, you may not know, Lorena Creole, she is the grandkid of a military veteran. She loves the military and she's worked with the military, being a super smart person, building equipment for the military in the past. She does different stuff now. But she's going to be joining us in a little bit. But she had a live stream. She talks about a lot of the amusement parks, specifically Disney world and stuff. And that was earlier. So she's getting food and then she's going to come join us. But I want to play a quick game. So everybody, let's get ready. Let's see if I can do this. I forgot how to put the banner up that Dad Man puts up. P.S. If any Dad Man's peeps are out there, thank you for coming as well. I know he was encouraging people to show up. All right. The answers to these questions are going to be the different branches of the military. I'm going to share a comical true fact that one of the branches of the military did. You guys need to guess who you think it was. Was it the Army, Navy, Air Force, or the Marines? I don't have any Space Force or Coast Guard stuff. I was looking that up, but I figured it would be easier to stick with just the 4 main branches. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines are your answers. And let me pull up the questions. Okay. So question number 1. This one is, I particularly love this one. Which branch of the military had its personnel adopt a chubby pig as a mascot, dressing it in a tiny uniform and auctioning it off for World War II bonds? Yeah, I'll give you guys a few seconds to think about that.
Why do I feel like I've heard this before?
Yeah, me too. I
Something about
want to
a
say I know
pig.
the answer, but
And I don't know why the Navy comes. That's the first thing that came to my head was the Navy. I don't know why.
well, I know
I'll go with the Navy.
I believe it was either the Marines or the Army. I believe it was the Marines that had a chicken. Yeah, I'm going to go with Navy as well. Although that definitely does sound like something the Army would do. So
Yeah, I'm like, what is that? What?
because I'm just imagining some bored private picking up a pig somewhere. So
I'll say Navy, you say Army, and see who wins.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I'll go.
Oh, come on. I'm sorry. I'm a really slow typer. I should have someone else typing this for me, but I did not prep this one enough. So give me a second. Oh, come on. Now Margaret, back up. My daughter is trying to answer. Mija, move. She's trying to whisper it in my ear, and I don't want you guys to hear what she's saying. Okay. Haha. Okay, people. People are jumping in. We've got, okay. All right, Erica, what was your final answer?
Navy for me.
Navy. George, what's your final answer?
I'm going to go Army.
Okay. Coastal Nomad says Navy, although, yeah, the Air Force was not formed yet. That's why he's saying that Air Force would not be the answer. And you have a good point, Coastal Nomad. You have a good point. But okay, so these are your guys' options, everyone. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. All right. So it was the Navy.
No kidding. No kidding.
Okay, a Navy unit adopted a pig they named King Neptune. He was 700 pounds. They raised $19,000 in war bonds, and they auctioned him off at the fundraiser wearing a little Navy uniform. So
that's really
1 point to Erica.
Pig.
I know. I wish I had a picture.
I have a hard time imagining that one.
I know. I like after the fact, I was like, oh dang it. I should have seen if I could find pictures for some of these things. But sorry, next time people, I'll try to be more prepared and have funny pictures to go with these. So, all right. Next one is All right. Okay, this one also, I guess we can take Air Force off of this because you're right. Coastal Nomad, you're right. Air Force is not an option for this next one either. Which branch dreamed up a wacky World War II plan to train pigeons to steer weapons by pecking at targets, only to realize that birds are not exactly cut out for high stakes navigation? All right, everybody. And you guys thinking about it. I'll read it one more time while people are putting in their answers. Okay, Avarice, Carmageddon's got theirs in. Okay, George, I'm asking you for yours first this time, so you get thinking, and then Erica, I'll be asking you. I'm reading it one more time. Which branch dreamed up a wacky World War II plan to train pigeons to steer weapons by pecking at targets, only to realize that birds aren't exactly cut out for high stakes navigation? Okay, so Avarice Carmageddon says Army. Coastal Nomad is saying Army. The possible answers are Army, Navy, or Marines. George, what do you say?
I'm actually going to go with Army on this one because I think I remember hearing about this one. I watched some documentary about weird World War II science experiments, and I think this one was Army.
Okay. Erica, what's your guess?
I'll be the oddball and say Marine. It sounds like
Marines.
a grunt thing.
Okay, so the answer is the Army. The Army's Project Pigeon in 1940 tried using pigeons to guide missiles by pecking at screens. The absurd plan flopped, however, because the feathers don't mix with firepower. Anyway, it just did not work. It was really bad. They thought pigeons were smart. I was like, oh, yeah. In World War II, they were willing to try anything, I think.
They might have had more luck with crows or something like that.
I know. I feel like, yeah, crows are pretty smart. Parakeets, but parakeets are a little stubborn. I'm not sure parakeets and yeah.
Sorry, of all birds, why did it have to be the pigeon?
Well, homing pigeons were, I'm not sure if they were extinct by that point, but there was such thing as a homing pigeon, I guess. Maybe woodpeckers. Yeah. Okay, Coastal. I mean, I guess if they were going after certain targets, woodpeckers might work. Coastal Nomad, that might have been more effective.
I just find it funny because I think they're just we have pigeons everywhere in this village. So they're just a funny bird. They really are. They're just funny to look at and observe. It's like observing a cat. They're just.
The thing is, pigeons aren't dumb. Okay, they're obnoxious and they are kind of dumb, but like they're really good at stealing. Like my grandma used to keep her cat's food out. We lived in a city, and the cat food would always get eaten by the pigeons. So she had to get like a fake owl to put right next to it to keep the pigeons away. It was really funny. I thought it was hysterical. This little plastic owl was enough to scare them off.
I keep thinking of how the pigeons are represented in the movie Immigration, the animated feature.
Oh, I have not seen that one. Okay, tell me.
It's a great family movie. So they're basically like a New York Bronx, gang. And the smallest out of the whole group is like the boss. And he's just got this like mobster accent. You have to see it. I can't explain it. Okay. You could probably go on YouTube and find clips of it.
Probably.
What was it?
Is it called Migration?
Oh, Migration. Okay. I have heard of Migration. I have not seen that.
Yeah. I've seen that movie like 2, maybe 3 times. That's how good it is. It's so freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I just wrote myself a little note. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I always think of the pigeons from Animaniacs. I don't know why, but like that's where my brain, when I think of cartoon pigeons, goes, is the Animaniacs, the 3 little pigeons. That will change
once you watch Migration. You'll completely.
Okay.
My brain goes to the pigeons from Bolt. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. The
Oh,
one with the
Bolt.
dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brain goes
Yeah.
there.
Pigeons and seagulls, I think, are just fodder for animation. They're just really entertaining.
I forgot that bird's name. His name's Shorty. He's like, who you calling Shorty? Who you calling Shorty? And something like, is that his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So let's try one more and we'll see if we've got Lorena with us by then. If not, we'll just keep going. I've got a few other ones. Okay. This one. Which branch had okay, this actually mocks the pigeons, by the way. Which branch had a unit try a psych viewing remote viewing program? So they tried to use like psychically read people's minds in the 1970s to spy on enemies with mind powers, only to realize that ESP exactly isn't mission ready. So in the 1970s, which branch? This one is all four branch peoples. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Who tried to develop ESP and read people's brains?
I'm gonna go with the Air
I mean, it
Force
was the
on this
70s.
one.
There was, huh?
I'm gonna go with the Air Force on this one.
There was a
torn
lot of
between
weird
either the Air
research
Force or-
going down in the 70s. George, you got an idea on this one?
You know, I'm gonna, because I haven't picked them, I'm gonna go Air Force as well. But part of me is conflicted saying Navy, but I'm gonna stick with Air Force on this one.
Okay. Coastal Nomad is saying Air Force. Avarice, Carmageddon. Do you have a guess? Erica, you were Air Force. George is Air Force. Coastal Nomad is Air Force. Okay.
Is Indiana Jones
well,
an
we
option?
will see. Huh?
Is Indiana Jones an option?
Indiana Jones is not an option, although he probably would figure out a way to do ESP. The guy's pretty smart. Although, oh my gosh, I feel like Sherlock Holmes should be an option because he really can. I feel like he reads everyone's mind, especially the way the new Sherlock Holmes shows are written. Okay, yep. Avarice Carmageddon says Air Force as well. So Erica's Air Force, George's Air Force, Coastal Nomad, and Avarice are Carmageddon. Y'all are on Air Force. And you are right. The Air Force founded Project Stargate. Yeah, I know. That's what they called it. But Project Stargate in the 1970s in an attempt to use psychics for intelligence gathering. And they actually were using psychics, people, like legit using psychics, which is hysterical. The program fizzled out when mind reading proved to be less reliable than actual military intelligence. So, hey, at least they're better than military intelligence beat out the psychics, at least. They got something.
I guess they got to get a win in there somehow.
Yeah.
I guess I got too many different readings.
Right? No, I've got family in military intelligence, and we like to tease them that military intelligence is an oxymoron, but
Yeah, I joke with those guys when I was in all the time. I'm like, yeah. I have a great deal of respect for them. Don't get me wrong, but I love pulling their chain.
Oh, heck yeah. Just like you give crap about, blowing themselves.
Camaraderie. We pull each other's chain. You gotta have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Yes. Oxymoron like a trained alligator. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We were on one of the Florida live streams, George, or I was watching one of the Florida live streams with Lorena and Erica and all of them. And they were talking about all the things in Florida that can kill you. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'll go back to Arizona because it sounds so much more hospitable than that place.
Well, did you hear? I think it was 6 or 7 months ago, they found a new breed of spider in Australia.
Oh, brilliant. Yay.
And
that's what Australia needed.
It's now considered the largest, most venomous spider in the world. Like Australia didn't have enough problems as it was.
Yeah, right. Ugh.
Yeah,
They're like
that was
prehistoric big.
like how big.
It's. I think they said it was from. I'm not too sure what the tip of their feet are called, but tip of the feet to tip of the feet, it was something like 3.5 inches.
Okay,
Like,
that's huge. At least it's not acromantula huge. Those are huh.
They got like Australia, man. They got spiders the size of your face, like the size of
Mm.
like a 9-10 inch dinner plate. Like,
Oh yeah.
you seen those videos where people are trying to like they're in their house? I'm like, how does something that big get in your house and
Yeah,
on the wall?
I love watching those, seeing those memes. Where people just have flamethrowers and just burning stuff down because there's like just nope, and you just see like a giant spider nest. Yeah, that's. While I do not have arachnophobia, I have a. If I see that thing coming at me, I'm not. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not super scared of spiders, but there are certain ones that are just like so gnarly. You're like, yeah, I can't.
Oh yeah, straight up. I'm the kind of person that if I am the adult in the room and there is no other adult around, I will adult and I will deal with that spider because I am the adult. But if there is any remotely capable other human being, nope, it's not me. I will go into pansy mode and that is all you. I don't care if you hate spiders more than me. It's not me. So I'm rereading Harry Potter with my kids and they get to the Bogart part and they all have like their biggest fear and Ron's is the spider. And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you, Ron. I totally see that.
Well, if it wasn't spiders before, it is now.
I know, especially after he runs into Aragog, the giant spider.
No,
Yeah, dude, that would fix it. No, Avarice Carmageddon was saying this. Australia has everything that wants to kill you there. That scary spider. Oh yeah. My one of my half brothers lived in Australia for 2 years and he was in the outback. And then there's a YouTuber I like to follow Shad from Shadiversity. And he loves talking about all the crazy things in Australia that can kill you. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Australia sounded great. And then you started saying all that. I think I'll go to New Zealand if I ever go to that part of the world. New Zealand's where the happy hobbits are. Y'all just can deal with your spiders and your crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one place my wife wants to go if we ever do this. When we go to after we go to Japan, we plan on going to Hobbiton. And I think she said she wants to go there during Christmas time.
Hobbiton exists now because they disassembled it after Lord of the Rings because the owners of the property said that they wanted their farm back to normal. And then they had so many people coming and saying, we want to see Hobbiton. We want to see Hobbiton. This is where it was filmed, right? And they're like, we had them take it apart. So when then they did the Hobbit movies, the part of the contract was, no, you have to put in a full Hobbiton and it gets to stay. And we want like hobbit holes you can go into and all sorts of stuff. And so yeah, they've got a full Hobbiton and you can go to the Green Dragon, or is it the Green Dragon? I'm getting that right? That's the pub.
I'm thinking Pouncing's Funny, but that's the other.
No, I think it's the Green Dragon. But anyway, you can go to the little restaurant there and everything. And I'm like, dude, that would be so worth it. That would be pretty. So yeah, if you guys ever go, let me know. I'll be your carry-on.
Japan's a fun place.
We'll see if we can find a bag because I don't want to pay for plane tickets for all my kids either. So try to stuff everybody in a little carry-on bag.
Yeah.
You should check out Okinawa. It's a great place.
Okinawa? What was your favorite thing about living there, Erica?
Everything. The beaches, the weather. Oh, it was just what's not to like about a tropical island.
I've never been to Okinawa. I remember Japan and I miss that. I miss the place. I've never experienced a country so clean in my life.
Wait till you come to Germany. If you ever come, they are real sticklers about everything being clean, like the streets and the buildings. It's really when you cross the border from Germany to like the Netherlands, because everything just looks like slum. The same with France. You cross over into France, it just looks slummy the second you cross the border.
There are certain countries that are really sticklers about that. Japan, like everyone just picks, it's a cultural thing from what I've gathered, is people just are like that culturally. And I
Yeah.
think it's probably the same with Germany too. Honestly, I think that's something Americans could learn from them, being a little bit more culturally tidy. I mean, we're not perfect. We're a pretty good country, but we could improve. I love this one from Avarice Carmageddon, Lord of the Rings land, and Hobbiton in the Universal United Kingdom would be awesome. Honestly, I want that. I totally want someone, Universal or someone. Do you know who has the rights for it? Erica? Do you know how? I don't know. You might not. Do you know I'm trying to think who has the theme park rights for Lord of the Rings. Does anyone? Because I've not seen Lord of the Rings in any theme park.
There's rumor that Universal might be.
Yeah, I think Universal is the.
Well, Universal, if you have that, and because everybody listens to my channel from Universal. Universal, if you hear that, come on, Lord of the Rings, Hobbiton. We want it. We want to go hang out in our little hobbit holes, dude. But wouldn't that be a cool hotel concept, like in-park hotel? It's like build Hobbiton, and you can like live in your own little hobbit hole, like rent your own little hobbit hole. I would totally, as a family vacation rental. Seriously, people, there's money behind this. But I know we're a military channel, and all of a sudden we're talking about travel. Well, guess what? That's what we do in military. We travel a lot. Okay, here's another one from Avarice Carmageddon. Singapore would be clean and has strict laws like no bubble gum and all that. Yeah, Singapore really does. I studied this in high school. Singapore even has it where you write your own parking violation tickets. Like they'll have little things for you if you're like your meter runs out or whatever. You write your own ticket. And but the thing is, if you don't do that and you get caught, the punishments are horrific. It's also illegal not to vote. So all of the punishments they have in Singapore, they voted on because it's illegal not to vote there. So
that's crazy.
I guess you could punish people.
I knew about the bubblegum law. I didn't know about the other ones. That's freaking nuts.
Yeah. So back in the Clinton administration, the American ambassador, his teenage son decided to write graffiti all over some wall. It wasn't really hard to figure out who did it because the official language of Singapore is Chinese, and he wrote it in English. So that immediately narrowed down the suspects. Yeah, so they wanted to whip him with a whalebone cane and a whole bunch of stuff, and they ended up getting him just kicked out of the country instead. But yeah, they're pretty strict there.
Yeah, because if I remember right, for my brief study of international law, was Singapore, public caning and stuff like that is still actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So.
Oh yeah, the public caning with whalebone whips is still a thing. It is one of their favorite punishments for almost any crime. So just don't go to. If you're going to Singapore, know the rules, all of them.
Yeah. Oh, it's
okay.
Warner.
I think we can do
that. I found out it's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers owns the rights to Lord of the Rings.
Oh, is it Warner
and
Brothers?
Does Warner Brothers work with what a theme park or do?
To an extent, because you have Harry Potter franchise is Warner Brothers, and they have something worked out with Universal as far as having Harry Potter in the theme parks. I don't know all the nitty gritty that would be Pro and that Park Place. All those guys are.
Or maybe we'll pick Lorena's head now that I've.
Yeah, Lorena would know more about it.
Hey, Lorena, we got a question for you.
Yes.
Who has the theme park rights for Lord of the Rings? Do you know?
Isn't it Universal?
I believe Universal does. Let's see. The movie rights, right?
Well, it's Warner Brothers is the movie rights, but for theme park, my guess would be Universal, just based off of Harry Potter, like
Mhm.
based off of that precedent.
Yeah.
That
Well, yeah. Avarice points out WB has the film rights. Amazon has the supplemental rights. That's how they were
Right.
able to do Rings of Power. So
okay.
yeah, it could be Universal who has the park rights.
So yeah, so WB has it. I think what it would boil down to is Universal paying for the IP rights in order to use it in their
Yeah.
parks.
Theme
Since
park.
Warner Brothers and Universal are, they're separate studios. Just as a precedent, you've got the Harry Potter films, which
That's what
are
I'm saying.
Warner Brothers, and of course that's in conjunction with a license from J.K. Rowling. So that's how they can do that. So they can definitely purchase the rights, and if the rumor or word on the street is true, supposedly Lord of the Rings is going to be coming to Universal Studios Great Britain.
I hope so. I would love to. We were talking about how if
Oh,
it
the
had
Hobbit.
like they should make a Hobbiton as an in-park like accommodations where you could like rent your little own Hobbit hole. I would
Mm-hmm.
totally do that. That would be so
Oh, and the cart ride,
I know.
little Hobbit party.
Yes, totally. Okay, so
Hobbit
we have
and Billy.
been also while we've been going about this, we've got a few. All right, I'm trying to find it now. All right, we've been doing some trivia. So we're going to do one more thing of trivia, everyone. Just to remind everyone, the answers are that you can pick from our Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. All right, Lorena, you're going to be here for this next one.
Okay.
Okay. Which U.S. military branch had personnel who adopted a feisty duck as their unit's booze-loving sidekick during World War II? So I guess Air Force isn't an option again. Coastal Nomad, you're right. Okay. Um, and it even got a citation for attacking an enemy rooster in one of the Pacific battles.
That would be the Marines, I think.
You can't make
Okay.
this stuff up.
I gotta agree. Mainly just because, like I said on a previous stream, why is it modern times whenever they do the branches of the military for pins and stuff like that for Disney, Stitch is always a Marine. So
Oh, Stitch should be a Marine, straight up. I agree with that.
Donald can get really, really nuts. So yeah, I think it's Marines.
I mean, I think before Stitch it would be Donald, but now we have Stitch, so I mean, Donald got retired.
Yeah, because I remember hearing this story, and if I remember this, I'll go to the story after this.
Okay,
I don't want to.
so
So I believe it's
all right, everyone in the comment. Okay, we got our people in the comments. All right, so Erica, what's your final answer?
I was going to go Marines because I hadn't picked them yet. I'm like,
Okay. I like it. It's a good strategy. It's a good strategy. All right. George, what's your answer?
Marines.
Marines. And Lorena?
I'm gonna say Marines.
Okay. Avarice Carmageddon says Navy. Coastal Nomad, you say Marines. And the answer is the Marines.
I knew
Yeah. No, straight up. In 1943, a unit adopted a duck they named Sergeant Swash, or the Devil Duck. They won him in a raffle officially, but according to witnesses, it was really a poker game. And he became their mascot. And during the Battle of Tarawa, he charged a Japanese rooster amid gunfire and pecked it severely, earning a citation and nearly a Purple Heart. After the war, it toured to earn money for war bonds, and then retired to the Chicago Zoo. Sadly, he passed away she, because I remember that laid eggs at one point, and they're like, oh, you got to be nice to it. Retired to the Chicago Zoo and sadly passed away in 1954.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a story.
All right, George. How had you heard of it before?
Well, no,
Where did you hear about the
you
devil
said it
duck?
all, actually. You said it all in the little breakdown there. Yeah, it was that was a funny story. When I read it, I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Yeah. Yeah, Coastal Nomad is right. I first found out about it thanks to the Fat Electrician. He is a
Wow.
military vet and
Oh,
has a hysterical YouTube page where he breaks
I
down
love
really funny military history and just incredible military service members. And he also just has a really funny way of like telling the stories. He's a really good narrator. I will admit
Mhm.
he does use some cuss words, so
Oh, I love
parent
it. It's
discretion
Oh
advised.
my gosh, I do know who this dude is.
Yeah, the Fat Electrician is
Yeah,
hysterical. We love him.
I've seen
He's
him.
actually how I heard about it too, and then I went out and actually found like a small little, it's a little knockoff book about it at the library for those that
Mhm.
actually still remember what libraries are. um,
I was going to do
and
the other one. The Marine Corps also purchased a racehorse at one point to carry ammunition. And I was going to include that
Oh
one, but I thought that
wow.
was maybe a little too many animal side jokes. Man, I don't know what it is with the Navy and the Marines, but they really love picking up animals and having them as their little mascots. Sergeant Reckless, yes, Coastal Nomad. So I'll tell you guys that quick story before we do the next question. But yeah, Sergeant Reckless was a racehorse they picked up in Korea. This one was the Korean War, and they were trying to protect, I think it was Vegas, the hill, one of the mountains in between the North Koreans and the South Koreans, and it was too steep for resupply trucks to get up, so they were told to go buy a horse. But instead of going to a stockyard like the Air Force would, they went to a racetrack and bought one of the best racehorses because, of course, there's gambling and booze, and they're Marines.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they bought Sergeant Reckless and they conditioned her to handle the gunfire and not be scared. And then they taught her how to climb up and deliver the ammunition for the guns. She was doing it so fast that the Australians on the other hill were completely blown away. And during one of the lulls went over and brought her something as a reward. And
Mhm.
then I think they gave her one of their hats as a reward. And then she was actually delivering the ammo so quickly, and the North Koreans were attacking so rapidly. They were firing the guns so rapidly because they had enough ammo that they actually melted one of the barrels.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, Sergeant Reckless is fascinating too. Super fabulous on that one. Again, Fat Electrician has a great video on it.
he has
Okay.
another YouTube channel called The Fat Files. That one
Yes.
is funny.
Was that the one
my
with the
favorite.
one title? Don't bleep with our boats.
Yes, and he talks about
Mhm.
why the subsidization of dairy, and so that's why America had ice cream boats forever, and how the military is the one who made the original mail trucks. That's why they look so special. And he did one on Crocs, and he did one on Chick-fil-A and a bunch of different restaurants. Yeah, it's pretty hysterical. Yeah, I love the Fat Electrician. He's a pretty funny guy.
Oh my gosh, Grand Theft U-boat.
Yes. Yes, Grand Theft
You
U-Boat
gotta
is a
see
good
that
one
one.
too.
I've now
I
seen that
know.
one, so I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh yeah,
I
that
know. I'm spending my whole live stream promoting the Fat Electrician. Hey, Fat Electrician, if you ever figure out that I exist, I'd love to have you on my channel. Waffle House was a good one too. Coastal Nomad, you're right.
I like to show you something if you don't mind,
All right, go
real
for it.
quick. So I have not actually popped open this book in the longest time. Back when Disney used to sell books, I got this, and it is so good. It just tells Walt Disney and all this stuff that he did. The signage for the military. Of course, my favorite was the one on intelligence. Loose lips sink ships, and
Oh yeah.
This is just an absolutely like amazing book. Of course, they don't sell it anymore now because that might be like problematic or stuff like that. But
No, heaven forbid. They were patriotic. No, honestly, I was a security guard at an art museum in college, and they did a whole display on war propaganda and war art. And they had a whole bunch of the Disney cartoons that Disney had made playing in part of the gallery. They were so freaking hysterical. And some of them would get stuck in my head. I'm like, dang, that is good propaganda, Disney. If I'm still having it, like I can to this day, if I think about it, it starts playing in my head. So,
Have you ever
they were
watched
good at
those
their
old?
job.
Have
Huh?
you ever watched those old army training films? Like they actually use cartoon and animation to
Mm-hmm.
actually teach soldiers how to do stuff. Like I was like, man,
Oh yeah.
How Disney
Disney
made
was
the
super
money during
patriotic.
the
but
Yeah.
now if you want any
No,
more war animal stories, if you want any more war animals, like little off-brands, there's a good book.
Okay.
It's actually called War Animals that I found at the library, and so it's about World War II animals that they kind of adopted, like the duck, and different stories
Sergeant
behind them.
Stubby.
So
that's
My boys love Sergeant Stubby. There's actually who made the video? It was on Netflix. I think Netflix had, or maybe it was Amazon Prime. Oh, now I'm gonna have to look it up. Sergeant Stubby was one of the first military dogs for the U.S. military, and he was in World War I. He actually followed his owner to war. He like tracked his owner down in France. Yeah, back when Hollywood was patriotic, the good old days. Not so much now. Now they make, well, we get Top Gun Maverick. Every now and then we get someone who gives us something good. Top Gun Maverick was amazing. I loved that movie.
So good.
The soundtrack was
I actually haven't
fantastic.
seen it.
Oh,
No?
what, George?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have not seen. I'm sorry. I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, so I have a hard time with. Even with the original Top Gun, I have a hard time with.
Well, honestly, okay, I'm gonna have to say this. Huh, Erica?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I've
not
never really been into Tom Cruise. I can't get into his stuff. I've seen
I'm not
Top Gun,
against him,
but it's
either.
just not like you're not gonna find me like ooh, over anything.
Yeah, I'm not one of those, but it's more of just like if I like the film and I like, and I like the story, and of course anything that has to do with military firepower, especially planes, fighter jets, stuff like that, then it's just like I'm in and like.
The story was good. I just never got around to watching the Maverick. I don't know, just timing. And before you knew it, it was hot women
like that.
next. They develop movies and like they go on to the next best thing so quickly. It just easily gets thrown to the sideways.
And that part was Val Kilmer. Yeah.
I was so happy he got to be in it. So I actually saw Top Gun Maverick before I saw Top Gun because I was never interested in seeing the original Top Gun. I know. It's a hot take.
It's all right.
But Top Gun Maverick was written so well that you could have never seen the first one and enjoyed it. I did. I genuinely enjoyed it. I went back and watched the first one and I'm like, the second one was better. And how often do we say that about Hollywood videos now? Like, how many Hollywood movies would you be like, oh, yeah, we should totally make a sequel. It'll be better.
Well, it seems like there's more flops than there are successes.
This is a kind of a plug, a shameless plug. I'm not too sure if we went to the movies last night and we saw the new Tron movie. That movie, that was top notch. So
really,
it's military, but I liked it. They did a lot. They did really good with referencing the originals, and the original one and the one back in the early 2000s. They did a really good job blending them together.
See, I've
Well,
been
I'm
hearing
the
different stuff.
opposite. I've heard more negative than good things about it.
I read a review that said Tron Ares was so bad that they really wish that AI would take over Hollywood.
Oh wow.
No, that's
Okay. Well,
I
Don't
have
get me wrong.
not. I have not seen it for myself, because that's one thing with critics. You know, you kind of have to see things for yourself. I don't have high hopes for it, but it's like, you know, I saw the previous two. I got to go. I got to finish out the whole thing.
yeah.
And watch
And
it.
that was me. I went into it not having high hopes. I didn't really have like a set expectation for it, and I walked out of there going, "That was actually really good." So, and I'm like you. I don't really trust the critics. But I'm also one of those ones that likes like Killer Clowns from Outer Space and The Blob. So, like I'm a.
Funny you should mention that.
That's a good thing to take into account, people, is that maybe people just have different tastes in movies. And I have noticed that too, George. If I have high expectations, that can actually ruin a movie for me if it doesn't meet them. But if I have low expectations, and it does halfway decent, then I might be willing to give it more of a chance.
I get you.
I will admit, I saw one of the Tron. I just saw one Tron movie. I don't even remember which one it was. I saw one Tron movie, and I'm like, I felt the whole time like I was missing something. Like it just didn't catch me.
If you saw the one in the early 2000s, then you probably missed it because all of them play off of each other. So all of them play off the first one. Back in, I believe it was the 80s that the first one came out.
Yeah, I've never seen the first one. I saw the second one. I was a little lost in it. Stuff had to be explained to me.
Yeah, my husband understood it. Yeah, my husband's seen those movies.
But I will say,
only seen one.
If you do watch the one from the 80s, I will warn you, it is a light show trip and a half. Like there's a lot of flashing colors in there. So,
wait, you mean it was made in the 80s?
Yeah.
With all the psychedelic light? Because everyone was tripping? Okay, not everyone, but a lot of people. Yeah, okay. I think Legacy is the one I saw, and I was so lost. I went and saw it with my husband. He got it. He'd seen the one in the 80s. He loved it. I was just like, meh. It was just not something I ever wanted to watch again. So everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. Everyone's allowed. George, you are allowed to love Tron.
Yeah,
Go
I
for
did
it.
not like Tron Legacy. The best thing about Tron Legacy was that Daft Punk soundtrack, because that is a freaking banger.
Okay. Yes, I will admit the soundtrack was pretty cool.
Well, I will say that Daft Punk is a recurring theme, so it's pretty funny actually.
Okay. So if you maybe don't like the movies, the soundtracks might be worth getting, though. That's good to know. Who didn't do? Was it 9 Inch Nails that did this last one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Trent Reznor and the other dude. I'm not a huge 9 Inch Nails fan, so.
Okay. I'm not either, but my husband likes more of that. I call obnoxious music. Okay. Yes, I am one of those military spouses that give me musicals and country music, and I'm happy. I'm one of those military spouses. I'm just going to label myself now. My husband is more into the rock and
metal, heavy metal.
music.
Yeah, that's my husband there. But I mean, when I met my husband, he was in the death metal band. So go figure.
See, it's funny for me because I'm a wide genre person. Yes, I do enjoy the metal and rock and just not rap. I don't like rap, but when I was deployed,
well, dang it, George, I can't talk to you then. just kidding, just kidding.
When I was deployed, though, I got into Lindsey Sterling, the violinist, and love her. So.
Yeah.
And my wife actually surprised me with a concert with her a couple years ago, and I totally fanboyed out on on her, which is not like me at all. So,
Dude,
but-
I've gotten into
But yeah.
jazz lately. Like, I love jazz. It is like my jam all of a sudden. I don't know what it is. You get into your 40s and like, I swear life just kind of flips upside down in unexpected ways. I will sit all day and just listen to jazz music while I'm cleaning, vegging out on the couch. And that is just like, I don't know what it is. I love it. Like the piano and the bass. It's so freaking calming. And I love it.
Yeah, I get
My
it.
daughter
my wife
loves
has
that.
gotten into my wife has
Yeah,
gotten
but-
into the 1950s music. So she'll have the like music from like the
big band.
1950s and 40s. playing.
Yeah.
I'm
What were you
like,
gonna say, Liz?
Mine it just kind of like varies. Like with 9-Inch Nails, I heard the soundtrack and I'm kind of like, well, I don't hate it, but it's got enough to like hook me to like, okay, maybe I need to listen to like like a little bit more. It's like I prefer like Red Hot Chili Peppers and 9-Inch Nails. But as for like music tastes, like I love classical. Like Mozart, I'll put that on and I'll just completely like zone out. It's just great.
That's what
I
I
love
put
me
on
some
when my
Bach.
kids start arguing.
Yeah.
I know that mommy's sick of them fighting when I put on classical music. It's my way to be like, shut up and be kind to each other.
Wow.
Mine's Rachmaninoff.
If they don't get the hint, then I put on like gospel music. Yeah, I might be passive aggressive with my
Mine's
music.
Rachmaninoff concertos and things like that. So I'm right there with the classical music all the way. Like I'll sit out there at work and annoy my coworkers because I'll put it on, and they'll be like, "Can you listen to stuff with words in it?" And like, nope, I'm good.
Not right now, no.
Avarice Carmageddon says, been addicted to Golden by Huntrix, the
That's
K-pop
a good song.
singers.
That's good.
Same
Oh my-
here.
oh.
I have it in my Halloween playlist for this year. Just because I know the street crowd is going to freaking love it. And we're being judged on not just like your house being decorated in our village, you're being judged on entertainment. So I was like, oh yeah, that's going to win. I better win that freaking trophy this year. I really want that trophy.
You're not
I can't
competitive
go
at
at
all,
least,
Erica.
like, at least every 2 days, my kids are putting on something from Hendrix, at least, and usually it's Golden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the main
I've
song
not-
of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen it yet. My daughter's like, everybody's talking about it. I don't want to see it. I'm like, oh, I was actually going to watch it with you. Okay, I have no reason to watch it, I guess.
It's a really good movie. I was
It
like rolling
is.
my eyes at it and laughing, like, what is this? And Christian's friends had come over. Was it for his birthday party? No, it was one of his friends' birthdays. She wanted to have her party here. So I told her, all right, we'll do your birthday party here. And she put the movie on. I was lost because I walked in the middle of it and I'm like, well, what's going on here? What's this? And what's going on with that? But the music was so catchy. And so a couple of weeks later, just because there was so much hype around it, I was like, let me just sit down and watch this freaking thing and see what the kids are like just raving over.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat and watched it and I'm like, okay, now I get it. Like Hollywood, and I'm understanding more day by day why so much Americans are leaning towards Japan and Korea for entertainment. Like it is what little bit I've exposed myself to. It's they got really good stories. It's just insane. The movie was great. The story was great.
Yeah, when I was listening to the after, what do they call them? The behind the scenes and stuff like that, I actually learned that the voice actresses that played them are actually K-pop artists.
Yeah,
so
they are.
So they were the ones doing the singing, the voicing, like everything. And it's like, you know what? I'm glad K-pop is getting the American time it deserves because K-pop can be really good. So.
Yeah, Korea's got other issues, but at least their K-pop is still banging.
Yeah, the thing with K-pop, it's so funny because I tell people this. Because the first time I saw a K-pop act, it was a guy act, and I'm like, why does that look like New Edition?
Mm.
Because a lot of these like boy band R&B acts that happened like in the late 90s or whatever, I'm like, I'm looking at the same thing. And it's really cool, to see that, because I grew up with like people, like other people's, like especially, like Korean, Asian, or whatever, mostly like Korean. We all listen to the same darn music. So it's interesting to see these K-pop artists, pop up. And I'm like, that looks like something Jodeci did back in the 90s or something. It's so cool. The same choreography, the same like catchy riff tracks and everything.
I remember when I was stationed in Korea, one of my Katusa buddies, who's the, for those of you that don't know, it's the Korean augmentation to the United States Army, Katusas. Basically, Korean soldiers that worked with us. He invited me out one day, and he's like, hey, come meet my family, come and do this. And we were walking through downtown Seoul, and I don't know how it happened, but one of the K-pop artists, he did a Gangnam Style. And he threw on a commercial, and it was a 3-day long water balloon fight, basically. And you walk past, they gave you a water balloon, and you just lobbed it at somebody near you, and they were filming the whole thing. And it was just a giant commercial. Like, I didn't know. All of a sudden, I'm just being bombarded by water balloons, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? So they make, unlike here, they include people into their commercials, into their things like that. So you could just be walking down the street.
Wow. I didn't know that.
That's cool.
Yeah, my nieces, my nieces are all in their 20s on my husband's side, and they are huge K-pop fans, to the point where one of my nieces has taught herself Korean, and she now is a translator for Korean comics, and she helps translate them into English, and she's the editor, because they'll translate them and she'll be like, okay, that's not how we use this idiom would be better here, and she's one of their editors. And she doesn't have a college degree. She just, from K-pop, taught herself Korean enough that now she's an editor for these companies. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty freaking awesome, girly. You go for it.
My niece is teaching herself Japanese. And according to my sister, she's just about decoded the entire alphabet, like their characters. She's really inching her way to getting a good understanding of the language. And she wants to study in Japan. Actually, she has mentioned that she'd like to study abroad. And I'm like, and she's huge. I mean, huge into anime, like Japanese culture anime. That is like my niece's thing. Yeah.
So my son's doing something similar. He downloaded the what's it called? I think it's called Babbel or something like that. One of those. One of those.
Like a language learning, like Rosetta Stone.
And so he's doing that, but he's a huge Godzilla fan, and so he'll watch it in the original Japanese, and then he'll try to understand it, and then if he can't, he loves Godzilla. So he wants to go to Japan. He's actually one of the reasons why we're going in the next year. Because I was there, and I want to show him around, but he wants to go, and there's a Godzilla hotel that he wants to stay in and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I've heard about the Godzilla hotel. We're jealous.
See, that's something Philip would love. Or Sergeant Dad. My husband would love that. He loves Godzilla movies. I hate Godzilla movies with a burning, fiery passion. I know.
I've never seen one, so I can't say I don't.
I've just never seen one. But here's my exception: Godzilla -1. I love that movie.
That is possibly the dopest Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
You know what? Maybe it's the gateway drug to Godzilla movies, but if the rest of them can get me, it's got a story that has heart.
And that's the difference, because the way they did with that one, like the other Godzilla movies that like I used to grow up like watching on Saturdays, the guy in the rubber suit, he's like going sideways, that's not true, but you don't freaking care because the fight's good and everything. It's like those stories were a little different, but with Godzilla Minus One, it was such a personal story. That's like the one of the few movies where I do not want to watch the English dub. I'd rather watch it with the subtitles and with the original Japanese acting, because it's just like it's something that's missing emotionally with that than when it's in Japanese. It was a killer movie.
Well, and the other issue my husband pointed out is that the other thing that my husband pointed out was all of the Godzilla movies I've seen have been made by Hollywood. I've not seen any of the Japanese ones.
Oh, yeah. If you watch Legendary, it's more, that's the issue that I have with the Legendary films when it comes to Godzilla. King Kong, not so much, not really interested. But with Godzilla is more of like a jokey type, and that's not what Godzilla really is. So they do that like for the Hollywood audience, but for people who are like diehard Godzilla, we're like, we know that's like a shell of what it is, which is why Godzilla Minus One did so well, because that's actually Toho who originally owns the rights.
Yeah.
They lent it to Legendary, for their movies, but this one was purely like Toho did it, and they're completely different.
It was really well. But the thing I loved is it demonstrated the Japanese culture in a way that Americans would never do. Americans water down, and that like they don't understand the honor and the part where he's bowing and like debasing himself to like plead. Like American directors wouldn't direct it that way to get that emotion. Like it was so. Because I've got friends who are Japanese and I studied Japanese in high school, but I'm one of the people that didn't study it so I could learn manga or read manga. I wanted to read Japanese poetry. Yes, I'm weird. I'm a nerd. Y'all love me anyway.
Yes,
but I loved that. And so I was like, it gave me all the feels. It gave me all the feels. It had the little family. I was rooting for things so yeah. I know. Maybe that was the gateway drug to Godzilla movies, and maybe I'm a Godzilla girly now. But okay, I want to go back really quick to a comment that Avarice Carmageddon said, and then we're gonna hit two more things, and then we're gonna get wrapping up. But we got a bit. I said wrapping up. We'll probably be a few more minutes. Okay, I don't know what this acronym is. Can one of y'all help me with it?
EJ. It's well, we'll
she's
say
a K-pop star.
Yeah.
Okay. Was an M&M or EM? Was EM?
EM K-pop trainee for 12 years. I don't know what EM is, but is that a group? I think that's a K-pop group.
Probably. Got rejected from a group, became a hit K-pop songwriter, and now is the lead for you know what? Don't quit. That's the message here, people. If you've got a dream, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you no.
Well, there are some people that just do better as soloists than with a group, and it could be talent. Her vocal talent is better served as a soloist than it is with like an actual group. And you know what? It worked out better for her. And a
lot of people don't realize that.
God.
And a lot of people don't realize like the K-pop and the Japanese entertainment sectors are substantially different than the American sector. Like here in the Hollywood sector and everything like that, we don't really hold our celebrities to any kind of standard. We just kind of let them do their, live their life how, you do you. But in the K-pop and Japanese entertainment sector, like you're under contract to do things specifically how they want you to do them.
Yep.
But and you can't date, you can't have a life like the way normal people would. So like it's a big deal. So when you're signing up for things, it's
when you're signing with a record label here though in the States. So when we were stationed in Kentucky, we knew a lady who she was an indie artist. And that was because every time she went to go sign up for a record label, they wanted her to sign a contract that's saying she wouldn't have any kids for the first 5 years of her label with them.
Goodness.
And she was like, "No, I'm in my mid-30s. I want to have a kid. I'm not signing that." And so she had
Yeah.
stayed indie her whole career because she didn't want to sign a contract saying she wouldn't have kids.
Yeah, it really depends on the label and what the contract says, which is why you should always have a lawyer, to read all that tiny fine print that's like this long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in Japan too, and in Korea, they have, something called integrity, and they have that honor system where honor is a massive, huge thing. At least in Japan, I imagine it's pretty much all throughout Asian culture. Is the last thing you want to do is dishonor your family, to have any association with being dishonored, basically being an immoral person in any way. They are very much, they know what they're walking into, and they're okay with it because that integrity is built into them. It's just, it permeates in their cultures. So it's not surprising to hear that in their music contracts for like K-pop and J-pop that it's very strict like that. But they're already used to living lives what we would consider in America restrictive, and but to them it's not. They don't mind it. Like back when we were in Okinawa, there were the kids, the Japanese kids, they separated the boys and the girls. Girls sat in the back of the bus, the school buses, and the boys sat in the front. You went to McDonald's and it was the females that were in front at the cash registers and wearing skirted uniforms. They were in skirts. So you kind of felt like you were going back in time to an American. It just kind of felt, ooh, like that's kind of like 1950-ish. But when you talk to them, they're just like, yeah, so what? It's just how it is. And it's normal to them. Those traditional values, that it's not offensive in their culture. They welcome it. They love it. And it's just part of who and what they are. And we're the only ones over here saying, oh, no. But is it really wrong? No, I don't think it is.
Yeah, so when I was in high school,
no right or wrong. It's just different.
I did an exchange program for a year where I actually got to live with a Japanese host family and go to a Japanese school and stuff like that. And it was exactly what you were saying. Like, we had, and as an American, I went over there with this notion like, okay, I'm an American, I'm going to do things my way. But no, that changed probably within the first 3 days. Obviously I didn't want to be, rude and things like that. Cause they opened up their home to me. So I wanted to be respectful of that. But so they showed me everything, and the mom stayed at home. The husband went out. My host father went out and, worked. And then I went to school with with my host brothers, and they showed me around doing everything. And everybody knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Everybody, I can't even put it into words how eye-opening that experience was. For anybody that gets the opportunity to do something like that, I highly suggest it, because it brings a new kind of understanding for different people and different cultures. So
yeah, I thought it was, when I was witnessing that at first, I was a little weirded out by it, but then I realized, well, wait a second, this is in America, and I actually found it refreshing, and I didn't feel, in a way, gaslit for being a stay-at-home mom. Being in Japan, it felt like, oh, I'm doing an honorable thing, being a mother and a wife, and I loved being out there, being submerged in their culture for the 3 years that we were there. And yeah, if anyone ever gets a chance to just travel and see other countries, and it really is eye-opening. You realize real quick that we don't have it all figured out in America. As much as I love my country, and we've got wonderful, beautiful things in our country, but there's so many other beautiful things about other countries too. Other countries do things, they have their things that they do right, and it works well. And I think it should be respected. And I kind of wish some of those things were here in the States, which they can be. Just depends on the family. We do have that freedom, I can say.
Yeah.
If you want to
Although
have
on
a funny life like
note,
that, go
though,
for it.
Well, it's
although
one
on
of
a
the
funny
things
note,
I've.
if
That's one of the
Japan
things
was
I've
probably
loved.
the first country to that's all. So,
Go, George. Go, George.
no, you're good.
Okay. No, but that's honestly just tying that up. And one of the things I love about being part of the military community and being on YouTube and getting to meet all of you guys through different platforms and just different life experiences, you can understand and appreciate different values and world perspectives. I'm always going to be an American, but I'm also a proud Italian and Irish. Like, I'm proud of my Irish and Italian heritage, but that doesn't mean I'm any less proud to be an American. And
Right.
I love diversity of thought. I like having people with different perspectives, because when people can politely and civilly talk about their different points of view, there's a chance for us to learn from each other and come up with something better. But if everybody was all the same, if every country had the same culture, if every country had the same perspective, how boring and how unproductive would that be? The more we have different people with different perspectives and different likes, and we can see all these different cultures, it's so beneficial to grow and develop. And so that's what I love about being a military family, is we got to travel different places. We got to meet people from all over. And Lorena, you lived out of the States for a while too, correct?
I didn't move out, but I traveled outside outside the States. So I've been to I've been to Canada a couple times, Vancouver. That's an interesting place. Been to the UK 4 times. Been to Germany 4 times, like southern Germany. It's been very interesting traveling as an American, and even more interesting traveling the way that I look, because people tend to try to guess where I'm from, or they're not quite sure exactly which language I speak. That's been interesting. An interesting thing. I've been mistaken, for Canadian, and I'm not. But at the same time, I've run into people who have been very, very interesting about how I see the United States looking the way that I do, and it's been some very, very interesting conversations. I've met a lot of people really, really wanted to know, to meet me, and to talk to me, and everything. But it's like I always tell people, it's you really, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword with what we have here in America. You really don't appreciate living here until you go somewhere that is not America. It's not to say that everything, that it's all bad. It's not it. It's just there's certain differences, there's certain things, there's certain attitudes, there's certain, customs and things that we take for granted over here in the United States. And again, it's like it's like a double-edged sword. We're kind of protected over here. You go 100 miles and you're in the same country, but still a different culture. It's kind of strange. It's something that we have here. But in the end, everyone's we all have identity, as Americans. So I wanted to stay abroad for a while. I was supposed to study abroad in England, but that's when the IRA started bombing everything, and my mom's like, "No, you're not."
Well, your mom loved you.
Yeah, she did. Oh God, I was pissed off for like a month. I was so angry.
Oh yeah, because when we're young, we think we're indestructible.
Yeah, it's like I got it, but I was like, but I was supposed to go study abroad. Get that? I'm not going to go to college now because I didn't study abroad.
Okay, we're gonna do one last quick question. Okay, so everybody in the comments, listen up. This is my favorite one. This is my absolute favorite one. And Coastal Nomad, you may already know the answer, but shh, just give your guess. All right, World War II. So the answers are Army, Navy, and Marines. Which United States military branch had a group accidentally fire a live ordnance at the President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, while he was on his way to a top secret trip and peace treaty? I'll read that one more time. Give you guys some time to think.
Okay.
Which U.S. military branch had a group accidentally fire a live ordnance at the President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, during World War II, while he was on his way to a top secret military treaty meeting? Okay.
I say
Got okay. Yes, Coastal Nomad. We'll do the little Jeopardy. Give you a few seconds to think.
Okay, so fired
Okay.
ordnance, right?
Yep.
Okay. Fired ordnance. He's on his way to a top secret. I'm gonna say Army.
Okay, Lorena. George, what do you think? What do you say
I
again?
think Army. That definitely sounds like something the Army would do. I think that's something the Army would do, so I'm going to go with Army.
Okay,
Yeah.
Erica.
Yeah, Army. Army was the first thing that came to my head too.
Okay. Avarice Carmageddon says Army, and Coastal Nomad says Navy.
Navy. Ooh.
So
Watch it be
the
him.
answer is the United States Navy.
No
In
kidding.
1943, oh heck yes,
Shit.
a Navy unit
Shit.
escorting President Roosevelt to the Tehran conference accidentally launched a torpedo at his transport. It missed and exploded nearby. FDR laughed it off, and the unit was mocked for the rest of the war. Whenever they approached another U.S. vessel, the vessel would say, "Don't shoot, we're Republicans."
Jeez.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it was-
funny. I was trying to figure out exactly where FDR was, if he was on land or if he was on sea. I guess obviously.
Yeah, he was on the sea. So he was an aircraft carrier, and one of the accompanying ships in the convoy was new, and it had all sorts of issues. It has the funniest record of oh my gosh, he had to pardon everyone on the ship because they were immediately detained, and they were and being under investigation for potentially treason. He had to pardon everyone, and then they were sent to the Pacific. He's like, "You're not allowed to operate in the Atlantic anymore. We're sending you to the Pacific." It was so funny.
I have a question. Were they the basis of the sitcom McHale's Navy?
Probably.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so what happened was they were supposed to be under radio silence. So they were on radio silence, and so they couldn't even radio to them and say, "Oops, sorry, we shot a missile at you." So they were having to do the flashy light signals, like the flag signals and signaling them. So the first thing that happened was they set up a depth charge on accident. It rolled off. They set up a depth charge. And so they had to be like, "Oops, sorry, that was us. My bad." Because they're supposed to be not drawing any attention to themselves. They set up a depth charge. Then the captain thought, "Oh, well, we'll just do some practice drills since we're a new crew and this is our very first mission." Why they sent a new crew on a new ship for a first, don't know, but they did. And they're like, "Oh, we'll do some target practice," and they accidentally shot off a live torpedo. Yeah, at the president. And so they're trying to signal the president's carrier to evade. Yeah, thankfully they missed.
Yeah. No way you're living that down.
That could have turned out so.
Oh yeah. Really bad.
Oh yeah, that would have massively changed the course of the war.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that electrician also did a video on that, but if you just look it up, you guys, it's a freaking
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
that one is epic. It is totally worth looking up. Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to go over some of the things that I'm going to be doing now in this channel, starting with next year and kind of going on this year. George is going to be with me for Veterans Day. I'm doing a veterans panel with George and two other veterans that said they would be willing to participate. They're going to be talking about what's going on in veteran land, what y'all are doing, how transition is working, any tips and pointers and that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be the only girly in my little room full of boys. Unless there's a female veteran who wants to join me, please tell me and you can jump on the panel and save me from the testosterone. I'm just joking. I love you guys. um, and then I'm still going to be doing the spouses panels with Erica. But this next thing I'm pulling up is something I'm hoping Lorena might be interested in helping with.
Okay.
I'm going to be starting a book club. I know you are a book girly, Lorena.
I am.
And I've actually read some of the books you've recommended on your live streams.
Oh.
So this is kind of small. Screenshot it and blow it up, people. I'll also be posting it on my X and my Facebook and other things. But this is the schedule for the book club. And what we're going to be doing is a live stream on either the first or second Saturday of the month. So in January and July, it'll be the second Saturday because holidays. But every other month it'll be the first Saturday in July, and it'll be at 2 Mountain Time, 4 Eastern. And we'll be covering these different books. Erica, if you want to join me to discuss the books, I'd love to have you. This is your open invitation. I've got some other people. Some of the authors are going to actually come and participate as well. I've got commitments from Elaine Bryn, who is the Be Safe, Love Mom author, and Lindsay Swoboda, who did the Life in Motion. She is a Marine. Lindsay was on a panel with me and Erica. Lindsay's a Marine spouse, so her husband's in the Marines, and they've been stationed at embassies and consulates all over the world. That girlie wrote about her life all over the world, and it is quite an interesting book. So we will be going over that one. And then the other one is Another Move God by Beth Runkle. I'm trying to figure out where I put Beth. Anyway, and Beth said that she might be able to be on too. So we'll have possibly 3 of the authors there. Yep. Oh, yes. June is one of my favorite books of all time. It's God Smuggler, Coastal Nomad. Come and join us. Be in the chat. Hang out with us when we do that one. God Smuggler is a fabulous book. He was in the military. He lived through World War occupation, Germany occupying Holland, then joined the Dutch military and fought in Indonesia, got injured and medically retired, and then became an evangelical missionary smuggling Bibles into communist countries all over the world.
Wow.
And it is a fabulous read. It's a really great book. I love it. But yeah, we're going to start off with something light and easy, Persuasion, which is one of my favorite Jane Austen books. It's lesser known. It's an easy read. And one of the main characters is a Napoleonic era naval captain. So
I love Austen.
that one will be fun.
Love Austen.
Yes. See, Lorena, come hang out with me. And then we're doing the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. Okay, people, you don't have to actually read the book. You can come and not have read the book. You can do the audiobook. There are audiobooks. And if you really can't, Netflix made a movie of this one.
Yeah,
and it's really
I watched
cute.
it.
It's super
Did
cute.
they?
Yeah. I've never read,
then-
I'm not much of a reader, but the movie was cute. I can't say if it was, to the book standard because most movies aren't, but I enjoyed the movie a lot. It was really good.
I've read the movie. I'm sorry, I've read the movie. Wow. Not tired at all. Mom brain. I've read the book and seen the movie, and they're both really good. The movie cuts out certain aspects. It tightens up the story and makes it faster paced, so it's an enjoyable movie. The book takes liberties that books can take. It can take time. And so a lot of the book is letters being written from one character to another character. And I really love that format of book. So it talks about the Jersey and Guernsey islands, the British islands that were occupied during World War II. So it goes through the British occupation by the Nazis in World War II. And it's a really fun read. It's a really fun read. And then When Sorry's Not Enough is one of the few nonfictions I have. Okay, peeps, I know nonfiction may not sound like fun, but this one is interesting. If you like taking those little personality quizzes, this has got one of those. So it's written by the same people who did the 5 love languages. This is the 5 languages of apology.
Oh, okay.
And when my husband and I were having reintegration issues after his year in Egypt, our military life counselor gave us this book, and it made a huge difference in our marriage because we realized we had different languages of apology. And what I recognized as a sincere apology was not the same thing as my husband. And so learning how to recognize apologies from people and what their sincere love apology style is pretty freaking fantastic. So even though it's one of the few nonfictions, it's a total worth read on it. And or just take the quiz. Just take the quiz and come talk with us about the quiz and what your apology style is. Hey, we've got a new person. I'm gonna throw this up real quick. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Sakurai.
Yup. I'm really grateful for everyone who's coming and hanging out with us today. We're going over the book club that we're going to be doing as live streams starting next year. Okay. The next one is 7 at Sea. This is also a nonfiction, but it's written narratively. So it's written in a story format. It's written by a husband and wife. He was a Broadway producer who ended up going almost bankrupt and then had to work a 9 to 5. And then they decided to buy a catamaran and live on a catamaran with their 5 kids in the Bahamas for a year. And it's their experience doing that. It's really a fun read. I read it and I'm like, I wish I was adventurous like this, but I'm never going to live on a catamaran in the Bahamas. So you can live through them. Live through air. Yes. And I've actually met the author. Emily Orton is really sweet. She's a doll. She was at a women's conference I went to, and she's super fun. So, and the next one is Be Safe, Love Mom. This one is the life stories and lessons and anecdotes, and it's written in a narrative style by a lady who she is a veteran. She is a military brat. She is a veteran and a military mama. All of her children have joined the military. So she's got lots of fun stories and insights. And then she decided to go work in a school in Afghanistan because she wanted to better understand her kids. So it's a super fun read. I like books, but I have some books that I pick up and I put down and I pick up and I put down. This is one of the only books I've picked up in the last 2 years that I never put down. I literally disappeared for a weekend. My husband's like, where have you been? I'm like, I can't put this book down. Sorry, honey. I abandoned my family for this book. That's why it's on the list, people. So
funny.
The next one, yes, we're going back to what Coastal Nomad was saying. It is, oh wait, no, God Smuggler. And I was talking about him. This one, George, you might be really interested into. He's got a fabulous life and the stuff he learned. He goes through a lot. This is one I would not recommend to people under the age of 16. They may not be ready for it. Because when he's talking about his war experience, he does not pull punches. He's not graphic and gory, but he is honest about the horrors you see as a service member. There's other books I read that I'm like, oh, this is a little much for me. He does it in a tactful way. It's not triggering, but it's honest. But it's good. It's so good. Okay. The next one is Another Move God. This one's Beth Runkle. We're doing lots of different types of books. This one is a study. It's a gospel study. She realized She was an atheist, and then she became a military spouse and found God. And she realized that Abraham and Sarah, she's like, dude, they were a military family. God was sending them on stuff. He had to go defend his family. They got PCS. She's like, she realized through her friends and finding God that there were a lot of life lessons she could learn from the Bible. And this covers those life lessons that she learned. And she'll be there to talk it with us. The other one is Failsafe. This one is totally fiction. It's written by a former CIA agent. Her name is Tracy Hunter Abramson. And it is all fiction, but it is super fun. And the CIA has to read all of her books before she's allowed to print them. Because she likes putting in stuff, but she can't put in some stuff. So it's really light, easy read.
I remember that. Just saying.
Yeah, but she's got a lot of books, but this one has to do with basically military intelligence and the intelligence industry. And it's super fun. I'm not going to I have a hard time talking about this book without giving away all of the plot, so I'm just not going to. But Failsafe is a really fun, light, easy read for y'all. And then the next one is Holding On and Letting Go. This one's by Lindsay Swoboda. That's the one who's the Marine spouse. And it's all of her experiences. She's lived in, I believe, Morocco, Ecuador, like all over the world. And all of her different experiences all over the world. And she's a former ballet dancer and now author. So,
Oh, okay.
the next one, this one I told you about before, Lorena. My book group in my neighborhood read it. It's When We Were Angels. This is about World War II nurses in the Philippines who were taken as prisoners of war.
Yeah.
And it's based on real stories. So I love this book. It's very good. Again, it's very honest. It's not graphic, but it's honest about what the POW, these women are the longest held female POW service members in US history.
Wow.
And how they survived and how they kept the civilians that were imprisoned with them alive. It's intense, but it is such a good read. Okay. The next one is Heirlooms. This one is a fun but hard one. It's about two military spouses who are widowed and how they help each other through the transition to being widows and losing their husbands. And then, but it goes back and forth between them and their friendship and supporting each other and their granddaughters who are best friends, and back and forth between the two of them. It's the past and the future. And it's really cool book. And then the last one is The Last Christmas in Paris. And I still haven't finished this one. So we'll all discover it together. By the time we get here, I will have read it with y'all, but like I haven't read it yet. I've read all the reviews, but I'm still working on this. So yeah, so Last Christmas in Paris, and this one it's set in wartime. I believe it's World War I. It's but yeah, it should all be fun. So anyway, we're going to be doing the book club. I'm going to be doing more stuff with veterans. George, do you want to do your pitch for why veterans should share their stories so their families have it?
Yeah. So as a fellow veteran, it is important for us to come together as a community to not only express our own stories, but the stories of our families, because I couldn't have done what I did without my wife and my kids. I give them all the credit in the world, because without them, none of this is possible. And without God, none of that was possible for me either. So, but as a community, we have so much to give back to each other and so many stories to share. And sometimes you need to hear that voice as a veteran, whether you're suffering from PTSD, depression, whatever. Just having that outlet for people to express can help. So it is important for us as veterans to reach out to everybody we know and go to your local VA chapter, VFW chapter, um, anything like that. Just talk to your veterans, friends, family, and just be there for them. Be there for everybody, and not just Veterans Day or Memorial Day, but every day. And also express the thanks to the families as well, because they sacrificed just like we did.
Yeah. And thank you, George, for being willing to come on and share your story. I love being able to help record these stories of the veterans so their families have these stories, because sometimes they forget to share things because they just deal with them and move on. And these are things that will matter to their families and to everyone in the future. And your contributions to our freedom and security matter. So thank you, George, for your service. And thank you for the support you've given me on my channel. Erica, want to talk a little bit more about what we do with spouses stuff?
Yeah, we're basically a survival guide to all this crazy life we call military life, from living overseas to stateside. I think we just recorded a podcast on PCSing overseas and stateside. I had more overseas experience. Actually, that's all the experience I had, come to find out in the podcast. So that's, yeah, it's pretty much what we do on life of a military wife. And, or even if you're not military, maybe you're curious about it, or you've got young adult kids or high schoolers that are maybe contemplating, maybe they're in a JROTC program. It's a really good place to tune in and just kind of gauge, what is military life beyond just enlisting or commissioning, like the whole career thing. What about the family, getting married, having kids, and a family life with the military setting. So it's kind of cool that we touch on all that on Sam's podcast.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for you and the other military spouses who join us, because every one of us has a different experience, because there's just a lot of variety in the military community and what you can expect and go through and all that sort of stuff. And when we did this is, I've never been OCONUS, which is the military term for outside of the continental United States. And Erica's basically never been CONUS, which is inside the continental United States. So if it wasn't for Erica, I'd have nothing to talk about with OCONUS. And thankfully, I'm here to talk about CONUS because that's all I know. So, but that was really a wonderful experience getting together. And we also talked about traveling with kids and moving. And that's something that a lot of people deal with that are outside of the military community, is like travel. How do you survive traveling with little kids long distance, or across an ocean or whatever, and long distance moves in general. So some of these tips and tricks we use can be applied to people who are outside of the military community, or if you're just curious of what military life is about, come check us out. We do that once a month. We have our military panel, and I'm really grateful for all the incredible military spouses who come on and tell their stories. I just recorded an episode with a Navy spouse. She is stationed in the Middle East, and she was talking about how they celebrate Christmas in the Middle East. And that's going to be coming out next week, and I'm really excited about that. So it's been fun getting to meet all these fantastic military families, whether they're veteran families or active duty or reserves or guard. I'm just grateful that they allow me to share their stories. Thank you, Lorena, for sending all of your crew over here. I'm so grateful for the support you've given me on this channel. I get to hang out with Lorena on her channel when my family's life isn't blowing up in my face on Saturday mornings. So, hey, Lorena, can you tell everyone about your channel and what you do?
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, and my pleasure sending folks over to you. Over on my channel, I do sci-fi, pop culture analysis, and I also talk a lot about theme parks. And one of the things that I really like to do when I'm talking about theme parks is emphasize any of the benefits, discounts, and all of that for military families, because there's all this stuff that's out there that some folks don't know about. So I especially like to help military families plan their trips to Walt Disney World. So that's one of the reasons why Sam pops on the channel when she can, and I've got Erica on the channel as well. So that's pretty much what
I'm
my channel's
really
about.
I'm really grateful for your support. And it was super fun having you on the channel talking about your grandfather's World War II experience. I that that's so important, is understanding our family's military connections. More people have connections to the military than they may understand, and it's just because they've not dug into it. And there's a lot of ways to find out more. Thanks to this wonderful AI world we live in and the internet, you can find more about your military than you ever maybe realized before. There's an incredible resource. It's called Fold 3, and typically you have to pay for it. But I recently found out that there are family history centers all over the world that if you go there in person, you can access Fold 3 and learn about your family's military history with the assistance of a free family history consultant, absolutely no cost. So if you're interested, please let me
Great.
know. I will send you the information to those locations. But they are worldwide. They're 100% free, and they have access to Fold 3, and they have experts who can help you learn more about your family's military service. I'm going to just pull this up. This is a hot take question. Erica and I have discussed this separately. And Avarice Armageddon wanted to know about the shutdown and affecting military pay. Here's something you may not realize. It affects more than just active duty military. Erica's husband is a government employee, and they live in Germany. Erica, it's impacting you guys too, correct?
Yeah. So my husband works for the Army as a civilian. And yeah, we are not getting a paycheck until there's an agreement up in DC. Now, that said, our bank, because our credit union is military centered, we are getting paid, but it's going to be as a credit. And I just got word, I mean, literally as your stream was starting, there was an announcement put out by the commander in chief that they have found funds to fund the armed forces on the 15th. So
thank goodness.
it's looking now. The only thing I question, technically our money paycheck does come from the Army active duty because he is under the scope of the Army. But you always have that question as a civilian. Okay, but does that really reach us or not? I don't know. We're still kind of figuring that out because all the information just came out like literally in the last hour or hour and 40 minutes. We'll know more by Monday, really, what the deal is in terms if our credit union is going to do the credit with us because we're civilian, or does this payment that's coming extend to the Department of Defense civilians? Because DoD civilians we get paid out of that military pot. We are, now when you say federal worker, there's so many different federal agencies, and the way they're funded, it's like each one's funded different than another. But we are direct, we are under the Army's wing. So, but yeah, we're being affected. But at the same time, we're getting by. We're doing the best we can with what we have. We do have a little bit of reserves. I have a son who's working full time, and he's like, "Mom, absolutely, I can help and pitch in." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible because you're a young adult and you've busted your rear end to save a really good chunk of change for your first car." He could probably almost pay one outright when we get back to the States if he wanted to for his first car. And I don't want to put that on him, but he knows that if we had to go that route, we would pay him back. So, and we have a little bit of family back home that if things really got that bad, we can ask for help, but we're not there yet. We're not in dire straits yet. I always say yet because you just don't know where this is going to go. But we've literally just been hanging, literally just went. It's Groundhog's Day. That's exactly how it is over here. We wake up every morning, and Raph is like, he's making me breakfast every morning, and I'm like, what is this? Like what? And he'll tell me, you need to eat. So like this morning, he was like, you need to eat. So he makes me eggs, a hash brown, and 4 sausage links. I'm like, dude, I gotta watch my cholesterol. Like I love you, but you know, and I'm grateful for. But I'm kind of getting a bird's eye view as to what retirement will look like with him while he's furloughed. I'm like, no, I'm not hating it, but there are definitely some things where I'm like, oh, life is going to be very interesting. We
Not gonna lie,
get to the
I stayed home with my
retiring.
wife.
What?
Say again, George.
I said if I probably stayed home with my wife, I'd probably drive her nuts, but then probably like an hour.
Honestly, COVID was an eye opener for me and my husband. He learned how to bake, so that saved our marriage. He knows how to bake. When he starts getting stressed, he makes food. Although that wasn't great for oh gosh, I have to exercise more when he starts baking. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, the military shutdown, the government shutdown, it affects a lot of people that people don't always consider. We live in a military town, and one of the ladies in our congregation works for the IRS, and she's out of work right now. And I know everyone hates the IRS, but she's a sweet, wonderful woman and a church going lady, and I don't like to see her family suffer. Um, Military chaplains are not getting paid, but they're still doing their jobs. And the military doesn't stop working, even though we stop getting paid. So
Everything's on a
it's one of
skeleton crew. So to keep operations going on a basic minimal level, everything's skeleton crewed, even down to the Army hospital out here. One of my neighbors is an RN, and he was furloughed. You know, Raph, my husband, he's furloughed. My brother-in-law, I have a brother-in-law who works for OPM, and they had enough funding to get them through, I think, this pay period. But after this next paycheck is when they're really going to be living it straight. Now, I feel sorry for him because him and my sister have 3 kids. You know, me and my husband, we're in that empty nest phase of life. So Christian's 22. He's got his own money. And then it's just me and Raph. So,
yeah.
And I'm not making anything off YouTube, by the way. There is no monetization over here. Although my son has told me, Mom, have you considered just, you know, kind of really amping things up? I'm like, yeah, well, amping things up, it still takes time, hon. You don't make money like that. You know,
this is a life hack I'd give to any military family. Find those organizations, those banks or credit unions that are willing to pay you during furloughs, pay you during government shutdowns. We have USAA, and they have always covered us during shutdowns, and we have been grateful for that. But even they have limited funds. They can only do it for 1, maybe 2 paychecks. If this lasts too long, then we're hosed too. So I would find those organizations that are willing to help you through without you having to get a loan. I would, and also remember, a lot of military families have young kids, like Erica was saying. A lot of these families have babies and toddlers and little children. And that's a terrifying thing when you're living overseas with young kids and you don't know how you're going to pay the bills.
Because out here overseas, we don't have food pantries and food banks to fall back on like you guys do in the States. So we're literally having to rely on whatever resources. So there's like Military One Source, there's your credit union. Like we have Service Credit Union, which is, it's a bank, it's a credit union, it's based in the States, but they really cater to overseas military because they act as both a European and an American bank. So our Euro bills get paid out of that bank account as well as American stuff. Anyways, whole thing. But the resources here are just, you know, we don't have family down the street. So let's say if things got really bad and you had to just move out and move in with family, you know, we don't have that option, you know. So let's say the lights get cut off or you can't make your rent. It's like, okay, well, where do we go? So now, if you live in base housing, you don't have that problem, but base housing in most places overseas only house maybe 10-20% of the personnel that's actually stationed at that location overseas. So most people live in that host nation's economy. And
I was
that's
actually
another
approached
thing.
by a question.
And our landlord out here, I feel sorry for him because he's an investor who has built homes in this village with the intent to rent to American DOD and military families. This affects him because he's essentially making money off of the American government because we get a housing allotment. Even civilians, like we get our own version of BAH. But when that income stream has halted, that affects him. So it has a massive domino effect, even beyond just us. And we haven't even talked to our property manager to see, okay, well, this is new for us. Because the last time we went through this, Ralph was active duty and they had the Military Pay Act in place. So it didn't affect anybody. We were fine because Congress had that in place, that act in place. And now it's expired and they, for whatever reason, didn't reinstate it or didn't bring it back or make it permanent. So this is where we are. And now government shutdowns are, a looming threat. I actually wrote to our representative about that. I wrote to basically begging, can you please bring this back? Because it was just so much easier. And both politically and in terms of just our family livelihood, it was just so much easier. Like, can not something be done, like that, like what we had before would be really nice. But
yeah, I actually got approached by a veteran friend of mine. He asked me, like, is there anything out there, kind of what you're saying, like what is out there for us to be helped with? And I actually had to create him a list of resources to go and look for these things. So if anybody needs a list of resources, I have a few. Wounded Warrior Project, as well as a few other veteran sources that help in times like these. So there are organizations out there that help. So if anybody listening to this chat or you yourself, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to share.
Yeah, George, I'll put your stuff in the description once this gets posted. So if anyone has questions, they can throw it your way and you can help them out with that. But basically, the main thing is if you're in the military or you're reliant on government, try to have some savings for times like this. Try to find banking organizations that will give you basically credits so you're not in as tough of a strait, and find out what local resources are available to help your families and share them. That's part of what we do here is share resources. So thank you for Erica and George for you guys sharing what you guys are going through and what are some different ways people can tackle those things. But it doesn't affect just people here in the United States. It affects people internationally who are dependent on federal funds. So that is a factor. So hopefully Congress will get together and do their job and balance their freaking budget like all of us have to do every freaking month. I'm not going to take a side. I think everyone should know how to balance their budget, including all of Congress. Because this is not a Democrat or Republican thing. This happens way too much. Learn how to pay your bills, people. I don't care who you are. Put your big girl or big boy pants on and pay your freaking bills.
Just
okay? Soundbite over.
Yeah.
Okay, Erica, anything you want to share about what you're doing on your channel before we head out?
Well, I don't know if that's can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm losing my earpiece, but I know you guys can still hear me. If you haven't heard of us, we are hanging with Erica and Raph on YouTube. I've got YouTube videos from last year up, just talking about military life, particularly here at Ramstein in Germany, what life is like, as well as what we do out here. We really got into the Halloween thing. We love theme parks. We're Floridians. We're early empty nesters. We're expats. So we kind of check off all those boxes. So our channel is kind of a mashup of all of that. So I've got videos on stuff out here, just to kind of give you a glimpse as to what it's like to live out here. And then, Halloween apparently has become a big thing in our lives. And that's kind of what we're known for now is Halloween decorating, and our village does a really huge Halloween celebration. So this year I am, as usual, I like to decorate and I like building things with my hands. So I built my own bride animatronic last year, and no, it is not to the scale of a theme park. It is very much dummied down to what you would expect for
a girl, don't sell yourself short. I was blown away. I'm like, how'd you do that?
Well, just when you say animatronic, people think, oh wow, this thing can move and talk. No, it doesn't. not the way.
Dude, Erica, you are far more talented and creative than you give your right. Like this girly, her background changes with the seasons. She is a decorating queen. She can make cakes. She's a Latina who knows all the good recipes. Like this girl's got the hookup. She's fun to follow. I forgot
about that too. Yeah, I'm half Cuban, half American. My husband's half Panamanian, half Puerto Rican. So we love to cook. Yes, I have a video up from last holiday season where I made a banh mi. And I'll probably do more this year on how to do arroz moro, or the Cuban black bean soup, where I didn't get my grandfather's recipe, but I found one that is almost identical to his. So
that reminds me, I got black beans in the refrigerator left over. So I'll make soup out of that.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of our channel, and I haven't uploaded since I stopped last Christmas. We just had a lot of things come up in the family, and it's been just very difficult. We've had some very personal things, just kind of ongoing personal things. So lately, from Easter till now, I've just been kind of stream hopping wherever I'm invited on friends' live streams. I'll show up and hang out. So that's just kind of been the YouTube life for me right now. We really have been taking a long hiatus from uploading videos, slowly trying to get back into that game. It's just easier said than done when you've got, just family stuff going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just dropped Erica's channel in the chat, so you guys can find her if you don't already know where she's at. George, you said you were gonna think about starting a YouTube channel. Did you ever do that? What are you up to?
No, because I still am planning on it. Actually, I had to push it back to the beginning of next year that I will drop my first video. Just life happens. I've had several things break in my house to where it kind of took a lot of my focus. So I had to replace a new water heater and plumbing issues, as well as I'm off grid, so my solar panel system went down, so I had to replace that. So just this entire year has been one giant house project after another. So I actually haven't had the time to sit down and actually do it. But now that things are fixed, I'm actually doing the research for my first video coming up in January of next year. On my channel, we'll be talking about Catholic life, because I am Catholic, and how that equated in the military, as well as doing a lot of constitutional-based analyses, because I did graduate law school, so I do have a constitutional foundation behind me. So I do study the Constitution and break it down for people to understand the foundation of the laws of the United States, and hopefully educate people on what being in the military does, being a religious person in the military does, as well as being a legal understanding to those other two factors of life bring as well. So hopefully just look for my channel. What was that?
Are you a lay person or are you deacon?
No, I'm just a layperson.
Okay.
So, um, no,
Yeah, I
while
have my two Catholic buddies on here. these my Erica and Georgie are my Catholic people.
I ran a Life Teen program here for 7 years. I don't know if you've heard of Life Teen, but that was the program that we used. Yeah, for Ari.
but I'm also a member of the Knights of Columbus, which is a male Catholic organization. So I have been doing that for a few years. But my channel is Catholic Veteran Talks, where we just kind of talk about everything veterans life, as well as, like I said, constitutional based analyses for different problems in life. And then hopefully I'll be addressing some issues that veterans have, such as PTSD, injuries, because as it was stated earlier, I am a disabled veteran. I have suffered several injuries, which have resulted in several medical conditions that do affect my life. So I hope to bring my experiences to everybody out there and give people a voice.
Yeah. Thank you, George, for everything you're doing.
George.
Yes, that was the other reason why I'm like, oh, I gotta have George on here with Erica. That way they can like talk, get hooked up on stuff. Honestly, Erica, you would love his wife. Her Cynthia's
I
one
would
of my
love
best
Raph
friends.
to meet you. Raph is also a knight, 3rd degree knight, Knights of Columbus. He just
I'm
a
third
we have
degree
to talk
as well.
offline. Way too much long Catholic story journey over here.
Okay, Lorena, you pitched your channel before, but I'm going to put the link in below. Is there anything coming up you want to tell everyone about?
Well, if you're so inclined, I'm doing watch parties, and as it is spooky season, tonight at 8 p.m., we're going to be doing a watch party for one of my favorite guilty pleasure horror movies, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So we're going to be watching that tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Welcome to Florida show. Erica joins that show when she can, and we just get along with just the crazy, the good, bad, the ugly, and the oh my gosh, that's actually really true about Florida. So we're going to be talking about the sad situation that happened to an explorer named Jean Ribaud, who was actually a French Huguenot who got murked by Pedro Menendez Yavalis, actually. So we're going to be talking about him because there's actually a high school in Jacksonville that's named for him. They call it Ribault instead of Ribaud. So we're going to be talking about him and all the crazy Florida stories we can fit in one show, which I can't do all of them. So we always vote on which story we're going to talk about on the show. So you don't want to miss the vote. So again, that's Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I have the Spice Lounge, where Erica's on the show as well as Tom. We just break down what's going on in pop culture that week to focus on. So that's all I got going on.
Honestly, I love catching the Florida shows. They're super entertaining. I've never lived in Florida, and you always got something fun to share. So those are super fascinating. If people just like history or random facts, like you guys cover some really great stuff. Those are a hoot on Sunday. And then I love doing Resort Recon with you when I can. It's a lot of fun. Lorena is a blast, people. She is absolutely freaking hysterical, and she's got the funniest takes. Like you have a very enjoyable way of expressing yourself. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't say your takes are funny.
Great teacher too.
I know. You make history fun.
Thank you.
So yeah, I love that. YouTube has brought me into contact with so many great people. You guys, Dadman, Tom, just all y'all, and I'm so grateful for the support I've had this first year on YouTube. I've been doing the whole podcast thing now for over 4 years, But it wasn't until I broke into YouTube that I really started to meet some of these absolutely fabulous people as well. And it started to feel less lonely and more like a community. So thank you for all the encouragement and support. Thank you for everybody who's been here throughout the live stream. I forgot to put it up on X, so that's my bad. Maybe would have had more people watching if I'd streamed it on X, but I'm just grateful for all of you in the chat and everyone who has just supported me through all this. So come catch once a week. Typically on Wednesdays, I drop a new episode, and it's either an interview with a veteran, a military spouse panel where we're talking about our lives, or it's a military spouse talking about some sort of resource or tool. Sometimes it's small businesses. I've had small business owners who are military spouses or veterans come on and talk about what they're doing. I had a really great veteran who does VA loans come and explain things about VA loans I had no idea were out there, and all of the great resources. So check them out. I'm going to be completely honest. My newer episodes are a lot better than my older episodes because there's a learning curve to doing all of this. But thank you all. Thank you all for your support. Okay. Well, we are going to close it out, people. And you guys can catch it in the replay if you'd like. And just, yeah, thank you for joining us.
Spouses and veterans, hearts that won't quit, telling the truth about all of it. This life we live is hard and real, giving a voice to the lives that we live. This life we live is warm but strong, and every story deserves its song.